The Marching Regiment of the Foreign Legion was a French military unit of the French Foreign Legion which fought throughout the course of World War I and World War II. Initially composed from various marching regiments of the 1st Foreign Regiment of Sidi, Abbès, 2nd Foreign Regiment of Saida, Algeria, and reformed under various designations to form the 3rd Foreign Infantry Regiment. The Marching Regiment of the Foreign Legion was created on November 11, 1915 by merger of the 2nd Marching Regiment of the 1st Foreign Regiment and the 2nd Marching Regiment of the 2nd Foreign Regiment, while counting 71 officers, 3,315 Sous-Officiers, Caporaux and Legionnaires. The Marching Regiment was subsequently the first regiment of the French army to bear wearing the fourragere with colors of the Médaille militaire, and one of the most decorated along with the Regiment Infantry Chasse de Marine. Creation and different nominations. On November 11, 1915, the Marching Regiment of the Foreign Legion was created from merging mainly the remaining men of the 2nd Marching Regiment of the 1st Foreign Regiment with the 2nd Marching Regiment of the 2nd Foreign Regiment, 2 On November 15, 1920, the RMLE was designated as the 3rd Foreign Regiment. On June 20, 1922, the 3rd Foreign Regiment was designated as the 3rd Foreign Infantry Regiment. On December 5, 1942, a Colonial Infantry and Foreign Legion demi-brigade was created from the forming components of the 3rd Foreign Infantry Regiment. 10 days later, on December 15, this demi-brigade was designated as 3rd Foreign Marching Infantry Regiment. On July 1, 1943, the 3EIM was redesignated as the RMLE. On July 1, 1945, the regiment was redesignated as the 3rd Foreign Infantry Regiment. History, garrisons, campaigns and battles. World War I. Throughout the course of World War I, the merger resulting in the Marching Regiment of the Foreign Legion of 1915, the predecessor of the 4 marching regiments which existed ephemerally, was engaged in combat at the core of the Moroccan Division in alliance and combat supported by 4th Tunisian Tirailleurs Regiment, 7th Algerian Tirailleurs Regiment, 8th Zouaves Regiment. August 1914 Regiment Formation Compositions. The formed Marching Regiment of the Foreign Legion RMLE of 1915 was constituted from at least 4 marching regiments formations created at the beginning of the war, with the addition of volunteers. The 1st Foreign Regiment of Sidi Abbès and the 2nd Foreign Regiment of Saida in Algeria provided the following demi-battalions as follows. Marching Regiments of the 1st Foreign Regiment RM1E. The forming Marching Regiments of the 1st Foreign Regiment 1E RM1E included 1st Marching Regiment of the 1st Foreign Regiment, 2nd Marching Regiment of the 1st Foreign Regiment, 3rd Marching Regiment of the 1st Foreign Regiment, 4th Marching Regiment of the 1st Foreign Regiment, other known as Garibaldi Legion. Marching Regiments of the 2nd Foreign Regiment RM2E. The forming Marching Regiments of the 2nd Foreign Regiment 2E RM2E included 1st Marching Regiment of the 2nd Foreign Regiment, 2nd Marching Regiment of the 2nd Foreign Regiment. The volunteers from 51 nationalities arrived from all over France, from recruiting depots created in. Almost 32,000 foreigners were regrouped in the early initial formation making up the Marching Regiments of the Foreign Legion, between August 1914 and April 1915. The most numerous nationality present were Italians, who made up an entire regiment. The four constituted marching regiments of 1915 were present at the front from the end of 1914 to the end of 1915, distinguishing themselves at the Argonne, Somme and Crayon, in Artois and finally in Champagne. An entire additional foreign regiment for the French army was provided by the all-Italian, the very leading 1st, 4th Marching Regiment of the 1st Foreign Regiment under Regimental Commander Lieutenant Colonel Garibaldi. This unit had its fire baptization at Argonne, during which the first 40 Italians Legionnaires were killed in action. On November 11, 1915, a decision was made by Generalissimo Joseph Joffre to merge the remaining men of the 2nd Marching Regiment of the 1st Foreign Regiment with the 2nd Marching Regiment of the 2nd Foreign Regiment to form the Marching Regiment of the Foreign Legion. July 1916 Battle of the Somme. The RMLE was formed 3 battalions each with 4 combat companies which engaged in the Battle of Somme. Regimental Commander Lieutenant Colonel Cot 1st Battalion, Commandant Ruellen 2nd Battalion, Commandant Widel 3rd Battalion, Commandant Mouchet. On July 4, during the siege of Belloir and Sansterre, the 3rd Battalion was completely destroyed while losing the battalion's commandant. It was during this battle that American poet Alan Seeger was also killed, he whom have volunteered in the French Foreign Legion throughout the duration of the World War I and was the author of the poem I Have a Rendezvous with Death. On July 7, the 1st Battalion launched the attack on Bayeux de Chancelier and lost the battalion commandant. Mid-July, the regiment only counted 3 combat companies per battalion and was retrieved from the front to reconstitute battle formations. For the July 4 to the 9, the regiment lost 1368 out of 3,000 men. Avril 1917 Auberive Regimental Commander Lieutenant Colonel Jury's 1st Battalion, Commandant Huss and Sampany 2nd Battalion, Commandant Widel 3rd Battalion, Commandant Deville then Captain Lanarian. The battle endured from the 17th to the 21 of April and translated in putting out of combat half of 1,500 Legionnaires of the RMLE and the loss of the regimental commander who was replaced by Commandant Deville. August 1917 Battle of Verdun. Regimental Commander Lieutenant Colonel Paul Frederic Rollet 1st Battalion, Commandant Hissond Sampany, 2nd Battalion, Commandant Widel 3rd Battalion, Commandant Deville. On August 20, the regiment was in charge of counterattacking to save the city. Entrenched in front of the regiment were 4 opposing regiments. On the 21, the regiment attained all set objectives, and pierced the front spearheading into the deep up to 3.5 kilometers. With that, the regiment earned a 6th citation at the orders of the armed forces and decorated the regimental colors with the legend Honneur. April 1918 Le Bois de Hangard. The 131st Infantry Division marched against the village of Hangard and Côte 99. While not a surprise, an urgent response was present to contain at best. The Moroccan division launched into battle with no prior preparation. The Marching Regiment of the Foreign Legion (RMLE) engaged, covering the right wing of the Moroccan division. The objective of the regiment was Le Bois de Hangard. The German responses were immediate. In the forest, exchange of fire was continuous. The survivors of the 1st Battalion lead the progression, charging, followed by the 11th Combat Company of the 3rd Battalion. Legion officers would be lost first leading assaults, and the Legionnaires would find themselves often deprived of the lead. Legionnaire Kemmler, a Luxembourgian volunteer medic in the machine gun section, took charge of the lead. Even though wounded, Kemmler took command of injured legionnaires and, despite the environment, managed to dress and maintain the atmosphere around the men. Accordingly, the legionnaires found the lead and made front valiantly until the arrival of an adjutant. Consequently, the assault of the regiment was saved. The night and days that succeeded until May 6 revolved around maintaining positions and repel series of incessant counterattacks. The siege of Le Bois de Hangard on April 26 witnessed the destruction of the 1st and 2nd Battalions. Losses for the regiment included 822 men out, of which 13 officers. May to June 1918, Le Montagne de Paris on May 29, the Moroccan Division and the RMLE had to block an advancement towards Villers-Cotterêts while taking position on the Montagne de Paris. The attack was launched at the dawn of morning following a storming incessant rainy series of artillery round batteries. Superior in number forces, opposing forces succeeded in reaching the entourage of Legion positions. Accordingly, forced to economize their ammunitions, Legionnaires endured 47 killed, 219 wounded and 70 disappeared in 2 days of combat. Losses for the Legion increased to those of the previous month, almost 1,250 men. Nevertheless, the RMLE succeeded in maintaining positions and blocked the German advancement in the Legion's designated combat area sectors. Until May 31, on a 5-kilometer stretch, the Marching Regiment of the Foreign Legion (RMLE), which included Armenian volunteers, along with the 3 EBCP and 10 EBCP, held the line during 6 days and 6 nights without rear forces support, without heavy artillery, without aviation and with only one available short artillery battery. The RMLE managed to halt all successive attacks. July 1918 Second Battle of the Marne. The RMLE participated since July 18 to the grand counter-offensive of Marshal of France Ferdinand Foch in the region of Villers-Cotterêts. The 1st Battalion lost the commander, Commandant Hussein de Sampigny. September 1918 Hindenburg Line. On August 1918, the regiment recuperated the wounded and filled the ranks with reinforcements from the depot in Lyon and cadres from Morocco counting. Regimental Commander, Lieutenant Colonel Paul Frédéric Rollet 1st Battalion, Captain Jacquesin 2nd Battalion, Captain Lanarian then Captain Sanchez Carrero 3rd Battalion, Commandant Marseille. On September 2, the regiment launched the assault on the defense line of Hindenburg at the elevation of Tournai-Saulny. In 2 weeks of combat, the Marching Regiment of the Foreign Legion lost half the men's regiment. Consequently, the regiment endured the loss of Chef de Bataillon, Captain Lanarian. Nevertheless, on September 14, the Marching Regiment of the Foreign Legion pushed forward and relaunched the attacks while piercing the front at the village of Allemant. Interwar period. The regiment stationed for a short duration in Germany and was then promptly dispatched to take part in campaigns of Morocco. On September 20, 1920, the Marching Regiment of the Foreign Legion was designated as 3rd Foreign Regiment, 3 ER. World War II December 1942 3 EI following the disembarking of U.S. American naval, amphibious and ground infantry forces, mainly Generals George S. Patton, Lloyd Fredendall, Charles W. Ryder's infantry divisions and battalions of United States Army in Morocco. Orders were tasked to the French Foreign Legion to form units to combat the Germans in Tunisia. Following the ephemeral existence of a colonial infantry and Foreign Legion marching demi-brigade, General Henry Giraud created on December 15, 1942, the 3rd Foreign Marching Infantry Regiment 3ER, EIM, from elements of the I-3ER the 3ER, EI, and of 3rd Mixed Battalion constituting formation from the 3rd Foreign Infantry Regiment 3ER, EI and 2nd Foreign Infantry Regiment 2ER, EI. Each battalion counted 4 combat companies. Regimental Commander Colonel Lambert the 1st, 3ER, EIM, Commandant Lapra 2, 3ER, EIM, Commandant Bossier 3, 3ER, EIM, Commandant Langlet. In January 1943, the 3ER, EIM was engaged in total to resist the German offensive, engaged in separating the communication couloir between the armies of General Oberst Hans-Jürgen von Arnim of Tunisia, and the armies of General Feldmarschall Erwin Rommel, set back since the Second Battle of El Alamein. On the 18th, during the combats of the reservoir of La Oud Kabir, the 2-3ER, EIM was completely destroyed and the battalion's commandant, wounded, was made captive. The next day, to the turn, the Un-3ER, EIM disappeared. During combats, the regiment had the sad privilege to meet the 1st German Tiger I tanks, and the regiment endured the loss of 35 officers and 1634 legionnaires. Consequently, the regiment counted only 2 battalions capable left still, each with 2 combat companies. Retrieved from the front on February 10 to reform battle formations, the regiment was reinforced on March 30, 1943 by a detachment from Morocco. Regimental Commander Colonel Lambert the 1st, 3ER, EIM, Commandant Lapra 2, 3ER, EIM, Commandant Gombo. On April 16, the regiment was assigned to the Moroccan Marching Division commanded by General Mathamet. Reformation of the RML on July 1, 1943, the 3ER, EIM was subsequently entirely US-American built, equipped, and was redesignated as the RMLE. The regiment was integrated in the 5th Armored Division. Regimental Commander Colonel Gentis RMLE, Commandant Daney 2 RMLE, Commandant Charton 3 RMLE, a Commandant. On September 14 and 20, 1944, the 3 battalions disembarked near St. Raphael on the beach of Drumont. From November 15 to December 13, the battalions of the RMLE participated with the different designated combat command of the 5th Armored Division 2 operations of Traoré de Belfort. The 3rd Combat Company of the IRML was decimated at Montreuil-Château, while elements of the 7th Combat Company illustrated savoir-faire near Dellen halted a German combat company. Colmar Pocket, January 1945. Regimental Commander Colonel Gautier RMLE, Commandant Daney 2 RMLE, Commandant de Chambos 3 RMLE, Commandant Boulanger. The regiment was engaged again with the 5th Armored Division starting January 22, 1945 in the counter-offensive put into motion by Marshal of France Jean-Joseph Marie Gabriel de la de Tassigny to relieve Strasbourg. The CC-6, including the 3 RMLE combat, engaged alongside the 1st Parachute Chasseur Regiment 1 RCP of the French Air Force, transferred to the French Army at Gesheim from January 25 to January 30. The CC-5 acquired Erschenheim on February 1, 1945, while the CC-4 liberated Colmar on the 2nd. On March 11, 1945, Colonel Oli Acute replaced Colonel Trichler, who died at the military hospital of Val de Grace. On March 15, the CC6RMLE was engaged with the 3EDIA for the conquest of the Antmarie Line, then in the piercing of the Siegfried Line on the 20th. On April 9, the regiment penetrated the Forêt Noire and acquired Stuttgart on the 21st. Having continued down south, the regiment cleared and made way to Danube and then Lac de Constance. Subsequently, the regiment penetrated Austria in May 1945 on the eve of the Eight Traditions. Motto: the RMLE lends the regiment's motto to the 5th Armoured Division, a motto which is reattached in 1943, France to board. Insignia: the insignia of the RMLE is gold-plated, scented by Legion colours and grenade-topped by inscription of France to board. Regimental colours. At creation, on November 11, 1915, the RMLE had for regimental colours the flag of 2nd Marching Regiment of the 1st Foreign Regiment on the Abbès French Republic, Marching Regiment of the Foreign Legion, on the Revers Honneur and Patrie. During World War II, the new RMLE received the regimental colours of the 3rd Foreign Regiment, 3ER. Regimental song decorations. Regimental colours of the Marching Regiment of the Foreign Legion are decorated with Knight Cross of the Légion d'Honneur, Médaille militaire, Croix de guerre 1914–1918 with 9 palms, allowing the double fourragere in colours of Légion d'Honneur and Croix de guerre. Croix de guerre 1939–1945 with 3 palms, allowing the 1939–1945 olive on the aforementioned fourragere. Ordre militaire d'artillerie Espada. Médaille dels volontaires catalans. Presidential Unit Citation with Rhine-Bavarian Alps conferred May 6, 1946 by the United States. The RMLE was first regiment in France to receive the fourragere with colours of the Médaille militaire. Honours. Battle Honours: Cameroon 1863, Artois 1915, Champagne 1915, Bataille de la Somme 1916, Les Monts-Verdun 1917, Picardy-Soissonnais 1918, Varques-Sion 1918. Regimental Commanders. Honorary Regimental Arms Celebration. The RMLE was decorated for piercing the Hindenburg Line on September 14, 1918. This battle is celebrated since each year by the 3rd Foreign Infantry Regiment, 3EREI Regiment, having inherited the traditions of the RMLE Marching Regiments of the Foreign Legion Gallery. Marching Regiments of the 1st, 2nd Foreign Regiments Gallery, Moroccan Division Gallery. Marching Regiment of the Foreign Legion, RMLE Gallery. Notable officers and legionnaires. Colonel Alphonse Van Heck, sous-lieutenant in the RMLE in 1917, who commanded the 7th African Chasseur Regiment during World War II. American poet Alan Seeger. Swiss poet, French naturalized Blaise Cendrars. Lieutenant Colonel Prince Count Aage of Rosenborg. Colonel Paul Frédéric Rollet. Italian writer Curzio Malaparte. Italian, French naturalized Lazare Ponticelli.